Hi Libra, welcome to your July 2017 love reading. It's Rena here. Before I begin, I want to tell you about this experiment I did last month. I did 2 sets of love readings, which I never did before. And what happened was I discovered they were quite redundant. I did one for singles. That's what I should have mentioned. I felt they were redundant. There were a couple of people who appreciated it, and I appreciate that they appreciated it. So rather than have things which I feel overlap on my channel material, I'm going to separate this and I'm going to put it on my website come mid-June. Down below, I will have the link when it's ready. So you'll be able to tell when it's there. But because I'm recording this on June 10th, I haven't done those videos yet. And personally, I don't like to do videos too far in advance of whatever month it is, because I really want to connect to what I'm doing. And it's not just about mailing it in. I really, I always tell people don't take everything too seriously when it comes to these readings, but yet I do take it seriously when I'm doing them, okay? So anyway, oh, and by the way, in the ones on my site, I'm going to be using the Oracle of the Mermaids deck. Isn't that cool? I've already used it once for a private reading, and just, I think it's going to really work out well. And I'm going to use some other Oracle cards and the Tarot. It's going to be cool. And what else did I want to say? It's going to be $1.77 US currency. So, yeah. So here I am with my unique method of shuffling cards. And of course, I will still be having these love readings on YouTube. I think I got that for your, like, what do you call it? General forecast for the last 2 months, or for the last 2 weeks of the month. Okay, well, this is a good ending. I do see some cards that look challenging. So, again, talking about people who are single, you may get a little bit irked because you might say, how come you're always talking about all these other people? But I have to just say what I see here. And what I see is, Jupiter is connected to the Wheel of Fortune, okay? And Jupiter is in Libra. And yesterday, which for me was June 9th, Jupiter went direct in Libra. So that might be a turning point for you. If you're watching in June, don't get caught up in the timeline. Just think about it in terms of where you are when you're watching it. And, the fact that it's for July, just suspend that, because it's a little bit silly. But it's fun to pretend, I guess. But let's just do for the eternal now moment. We got Jupiter turning direct. That could be a turning point in a relationship for you. Now, that could actually point to anything, because you're having this beginning of a 12-year cycle with Jupiter in your sign. So for that year, and it ends in October, when the sun is in Libra, it's going to go into Scorpio. I think it's October 11th. So you've had it in your sign, and so in general, your life may have produced more opportunities for you. But it could just be something you internalized, where you were thinking of yourself in a more expanded, you have more expanded vision for yourself, okay? That could possibly be what occurred during this time. And you may have kind of reflected on a relationship. Maybe it was a relationship that you realize is not giving you that emotional satisfaction. Now, what's interesting about the Four of Cups is you see that someone, they say the clouds, so I tend to interpret that as the universe is presenting you with love, and yet you're indifferent. Because this is why. It's not just about finding love. It has to be the person that you're compatible with. People are not interchangeable. So you may have offers, and you may have taken an offer when it comes to love. No, you know what? This could be like if you're single. You're being offered love and you haven't found the right person. So yeah, it could definitely apply to single people. But if you're in a relationship with someone and you realize, oh my God, we are not compatible ultimately, that can be a very unsettling thing for a Libra. And the reason is because you don't want to make waves. You don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to reject someone. You want to be kind. That's your natural inclination. And you may feel like, how can I deal with this? How can I do this? I have to tell somebody that I'm not in love with them. I always think that is the cruelest thing. And pardon to anybody who has said that to another person, but I would never say that. Even if that were true, I would say something else. And not a lie, but just say, I don't think we're compatible. But to say, I'm just not in love with you, or I never loved you, I mean, I just can't imagine saying that. But you may feel that. You may feel like, gosh, I guess I never really loved this person. Or you've fallen out of love with them. But with Libra, there's always the need to make sure that you're not being too fickle. And Libra is it's kind of I was going to say is a weird sign, because you're like in love with love, and yet you're an air sign. So it's very abstract. It's very much in the mind. And then on top of that, you're a cardinal sign. So Libran people are very capable of like taking action and leaving relationships. Yes, you tend to have a neurotic tendency of not being able to make up your mind. So some of you may stay in. I know one couple that the man has a sun in Libra, the woman has the moon in Libra, and I think they've been married for like almost 20 years, and they are not living together anymore, but neither one will get divorced. I suspect they both have Scorpio in them though too. And so they're like, you know what, screw you. But I was thinking of that actor, I can't think of his name, that he's really good looking. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything. And he's a Libran person, and he's been married 4 times. You might know who he is. I think he might be in his 40s right now. And the guy is like, he's like such a cad, and yet he's very charming. I guess cads are charming. And he's been married 4 times because he's in love with love. It's obvious to me. And so when it starts to get to that level where it's just the day-to-day, there's dirty socks on the floor, whatever, that's when he probably loses interest. He just wants that rush of that initial infatuation. I'm just guessing, And so that's something you have to consider if that's how you get. If it's very easy for you to get to that 4 of Cups state, where you're just like, I'm not in love anymore because this person burped, and that's disgusting. How can I love somebody that burps? Because you're so into the aesthetics, All right, that person has a corn on their foot. I mean, that is gross. But anyway, I'm just being silly, I guess. What's coming in is the 3 of Swords. Now, this could be exactly what I'm saying, where you have to cut this thing very quickly. And you can't let it linger. And so some of you may just like, okay, I'm done. For some people, this could be a love triangle. that it could be that that's possibly why you're feeling dissatisfied, or you were feeling dissatisfied in a relationship, and you're part of this situation. But I would feel in that sense that you initiated it, okay? Whatever's happening, I did say with the Four of Cups and the Three of Swords that they were challenging energies. But look at what they're flanked. Look what flanks, or is it, wait a minute, what flanks what? Okay, what is in the center of that card is the Wheel of Fortune. So you have great momentum going on in your life. Something lucky. You have that, Lady Luck is right there with you. So whatever's happening, I don't think that it's that big of a deal. I think you're going to kind of, it may be like awkward or uncomfortable for a minute, but then you'll move on with your life as you typically do. Because this is like you on your best day. The Queen of Swords, this is where you're able to be sensitive and yet logical and precise and detached when you need to be. But you still retain that compassion. If I had drawn the King of Swords, I would say be careful that you are not being too unemotional, where you're not realizing that you may hurt somebody else's feelings in the process of trying to resolve a particular situation. What crosses you is exactly what I was talking about before, is not being able to make that decision. So I get the feeling that some of you are in a relationship that is just very blah, meh, and you really want to move on with your life, but you may have a hard time getting to that point where you actually do it. Well, guess what comes into the picture? If you don't do it, something will. Something will happen that will clear the air, but in the process, it could be very, I don't want to say devastating, but this again would especially apply for any kind of situation where there's more than one party involved. And there's a little bit of maybe some kind of deception going on. This is a card of things coming out in the open. And so just if you don't make the decision, the universe will make it for you. And it will free you from the situation, but it could leave a devastating wake. So it's always better to take that action. And it starts by just having a conversation with somebody and telling them how you feel about what's happening in your relationship. It doesn't have to be horrendous. It really doesn't, I don't think. The outcome is the Queen of Wands. I had picked this card in a different position for, I believe it was Taurus, but it's like, this is a fire energy. I was thinking even if you did meet somebody, it could be a Sagittarius, because the Jupiter with the Wheel of Fortune could be the connection with the sign of Sagittarius. But this is a card of being very confident and cheerful. And this makes me think that you end up with a fire sign individual. It could be a Leo too, or Aries is the other fire sign. But I think of that, you see the Queen as the higher message. I think of that as a facet of you, where by getting out of that malaise, which the Four of Cups represents, you're able to feel so much better. It's like getting rid of that dead weight. And I hate to refer to another human being that way, but it can really be something that you don't realize is very oppressive until you leave that situation. So that can actually be a great revelation. So, wow. I hope you enjoyed this, Libra. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. You can find me at rainamoonastrology.com. Take care of yourselves. Bye.